Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at another move update Pokemon in Season 12 of Go Battle League, Quick Attack Zacian. Now Zacian, since its release, has been top meta in the Master League, typically running the fast move of Snarl. But now thanks to the buff to Quick Attack is now a viable alternative moveset for Zacian, giving Zacian increased farm ability and better matchups in the mirror in exchange for a worse Giratina matchup. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Quick Attack Zacian in action in the Master League. Hopping into the first match, leading Zacian into Therian Landorus. This is a matchup that typically Zacian is not able to win in even shielding scenarios with Snarl, but with Quick Attack, Zacian actually does pick up the 1 shield and the 2 shield. They're going to fire off a Stone Edge. I do survive 1, so I let it go. I fire back with a Play Rough, and I'm able to grab a shield. As you can see, the Quick Attacks are adding up a ton on this Landorus. They fire off another Stone Edge. I commit the shield, and I'm firing off my second Play Rough. This is going to do massive damage, so my opponent decides to commit their final shield. I'm definitely in superpower range now, so they could honestly just fire off a superpower here. They actually go for a Stone Edge. I have to watch for a catch. They go for a catch, and they bring in a Snarl Zacian. Now this is another situation where having Quick Attack is quite nice. This Quick Attack allows me to do fast move damage in the mirror, and I reach another Play Rough. Play Rough takes out the opponent's Zacian. In the back, they have Dialga. I immediately switch into my Yveltal. Due to the immediate switch, I outpace the Dialga, reach the Focus Blast, and one-shot the Dialga. Back in comes Landorus. Landorus is going to be forced to Stone Edge here. And from this point, they're too low that I should just be able to farm down with Dialga. I'm going to bring in Dialga. Dialga able to get the farm down. And that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Zacian into Excadrill. This is a great lead for Zacian, and absolutely where I want to see Exca on this team. I'm going to farm up and fire off the close combat as they reach the back-to-back drill runs. I'm going to let the first one through. Since I'm non-debuffed yet, I'm going to be able to tank that fairly comfortably, and I can save my shields for after I've already debuffed my defense. Close combat does get the shield. They're going to fire off their second drill run. The thing I do have to watch for is a potential catch. So I'm going to farm up, watching for the catch. Opponent goes for the catch as they bring in Zacian, and I'm going to be firing off the Play Rough. This is going to do a nice amount of damage onto my opponent. I'm going to farm up, hoping to reach the Play Rough, but I do get outpaced. This is only enough for a wild charge or a close combat, so I will commit the shield, farm up, and reach the back-to-back close combats. They're debuffed, so this is going to KO if they let it through. Close combat gets the shield. I switch into Yveltal to catch their close combat. Let's go. Close combat is only hitting for neutral there, and I should be able to outpace them to the Play Rough here, and Dark Pulse is going to be enough to take down the Zacian. And I've preserved a close combat, so I can hopefully take care of the Exca later in the match. In comes Exca. Exca is able to reach the Rock Slide. This is going to come very close to taking me out here. Rock Slide, barely not enough. They snipe with Palkia. I'm going to wait my timer and then bring in Dialga. I can use Dialga to get rid of Palkia, and then I'll have the close combat loaded on the Zacian to take care of the Excadrill. I'm able to reach the Iron Head. Iron Head plus a few more Dragon Breaths will be enough to KO, and then I can very safely switch back into the Zacian. Excadrill has no more shields to hide behind. Close combat gets the KO, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Zacian into another Therian Landorus. Same game plan as last time. I'm going to be staying in this matchup because so long as I commit a shield, Zacian can typically win this matchup now. They fire off the Stone Edge, that's fine. I'm going to overfarm quite a bit. My opponent safe switches into their own Zacian, and I kind of have to stay in here. My backline does not want to see Zacian whatsoever. Thankfully, they're running Snarl. They have slightly faster energy generation, but they do way less fast move damage in the mirror. I fire off another Play Rough, I'm able to grab a shield. I'm up a shield, so I don't actually mind shielding here, because at the very least, I can hopefully grab their final shield or get rid of this Zacian. Either one works out pretty nicely for me. I'm going to fire off the Play Rough. Play Rough does get the final shield, and I think at this point, I'm just going to let my Zacian go. I should be able to tank any one move they throw on my Dialga, and Dialga with energy and a shield can typically handle Therian Landorus pretty well. They're going to be able to reach a move. I'm going to let this go. No matter what they throw, I will be able to live it. Opponent goes for a Play Rough. They must be running Play Rough Wild Charge. In comes Landorus. Landorus is going to be firing off the superpower. I am going to be committing my final shield here. I'm going to farm up ever so slightly and fire off the Iron Head. Iron Head is going to be taking out the Landorus. It all depends what they have in the back here. It's Dialga, and a quick switch into Yveltal. And so long as I switch fast enough, Yveltal is going to be able to outpace the Dialga. Hello, Dialga. Goodbye, Dialga. Back in comes Zacian. Zacian gets snarled down, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Zacian into Giratina Origin, and this is the main matchup that gets significantly worse with Quick Attack. I save switch into my Dialga, and I'm immediately punished with an Excadrill switch in. This is a terrible matchup. They're gonna fire off the Drill Run. I will be able to tank it and reach the Draco Meteor. I do try and go for CMP, but my opponent doesn't fall for it. They know they can shield the Draco Meteor, farm down, and leave with a lot of loaded energy. I bring back in my Zacian. They have a lot of energy, but I should be able to reach a close combat before they're able to get to their third Drill Run. They fire off the first, they fire off the second. Tough decision to make, but I do decide to commit a shield and preserve some HP on my Zacian for later. I'm going to farm up, fire off the close combat. This is going to be taking them out, and then I have to hope that Zacian can close in the back. In comes Zacian. In the back, they have Therian Landorus, and unfortunately, this is looking like it is game over. His Therian Landorus in the one shield does have a pretty nice matchup against Yveltal. They're able to tank a Dark Pulse pretty well, whereas the Stone Edge doesn't quite one-shot me, but comes extremely close. I'm going to fire off another Dark Pulse. This is going to be grabbing the final shield. I think my only hope is that I'm able to Quick Attack down and reach a Play Rough, but even then, one Play Rough is not enough to KO Giratina Origin from full health, so it's still looking like this is going to be game over here. Superpower takes me out. In comes Zacian. Their switch timer is up. They're going to be able to reach a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will be taking out my Zacian, and unfortunately, we do lose the match. Hopping into the next match, picking up a great lead, Zacian into Dialga. You absolutely love to see it. Opponent is staying in this lead, and that is incredible news for me. I'm going to farm up and fire off the close combat just before they're able to reach the Iron Head. Close combat, gets the shield. Opponent fires off the Iron Head. Since they shield it, I am definitely going to be shielding up as well. They go for the Iron Head, they save switch into a purified Apex Lugia, and I respond with my Yveltal. This is a pretty nice matchup for Yveltal, but I do have to be careful of a potential Aeroblast, because that would do a ton of damage. They are able to outpace me and reach the Aeroblast, so I will commit my final shield. They go for the Aeroblast, they get the attack boost, but thankfully I am going to be able to double up on Dark Pulses before they reach their Sky Attack. They know this, so they are going to be letting that move go and bringing back in Dialga. I build up to the Focus Blast. I'm going to be baiting with the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse gets the shield from Dialga. That's huge. I continue to farm up, going for the Focus Blast, but I fall just short. Absolutely heartbreaking. Dialga is going to be able to land an Iron Head. I should be able to live this. We'll have to see what they have in the back, and it's Kyogre. I bank the close combat for later, and I bring in Dialga. They're going to fire off a move. They are not at enough for a Blizzard, so I'm in a pretty nice spot here. It's only a Surf, and I'm going to farm up basically to 100 energy, fire off the Iron Head, and then try and reach a Draco versus their Dialga. So I farm up, I fire off the Iron Head. This Iron Head should just about be enough to KO. Iron Head gets him low, and I'm able to farm him down. Back in comes Dialga, not able to reach the Draco, but I do have the close combat loaded. Close combat will take out the Dialga, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Zacian into another Dialga. Let's go. They're staying in, so like last time, I'm going to farm up till just before they get to the Iron Head and fire off the close combat to make them make the first shielding decision of the match. Close combat does get shielded. They fire back with the Iron Head, and since they shielded, I'm more than happy to shield myself. Again, I'm going to be overfarming quite a bit in this matchup before I go for the close combat, and my opponent reads me like a book, making an incredible catch, catching the close combat onto their own Quick Attack Zacian. That is really unfortunate for me, because I wasted a lot of energy there. I fire off the Play Rough. Play Rough, not going to be enough to KO. I try and go for a catch catch of a close combat, but my opponent holds on to their energy, and now things are looking pretty awful for me. Play Rough does a ton of damage. I try and go for the farm down. I'm not able to get there. I think I kind of just have to let this go. They are running a Play Rough Wild Charge Zacian, and I'm able to farm down. I do leave with some energy, which is nice. We'll have to see what they have in the back. In the back, they have Groudon, and I made an absolutely terrible decision to throw away my Yveltal, because Yveltal has an incredibly good matchup versus Mudshot Groudon, whereas now, I'm left with the Dialga, and I am in a very rough spot. They actually switch out the Groudon, and they bring in their own Dialga. Actually, I may have a chance here. My goal is to try and commit to the farm down. If I can commit to the farm down and leave with 2 Iron Heads, maybe I have a chance, but my opponent is able to reach the last second Iron Head. That takes out my Dialga, and I lose an incredibly unfortunate game. Hopping into the next match, leading Zacian into Lugia. Fairly neutral lead. I will be looking to switch out of this matchup eventually. I'm going to be staying in here for now, though, because I can get some very nice chip damage with the Play Rough. Lugia is extremely tanky, but Play Rough is still going to be doing some solid health, getting them close to about 50% HP. They're able to tank it, they farm up, and they're going to fire off their Aeroblast. I am going to be able to tank the Aeroblast here, but they actually go for a Sky Attack, which is even better for me. I'm going to fire off my Play Rough. This is going to be getting them quite low, and I'm going to be looking to try and catch onto Dialga, and they throw their energy. Honestly, this is perfect, because this is going to be resisted. They go for the Aeroblast, I'm able to tank it, and they have their own Dialga in the back. I'm going straight for the Draco, and they let me get there. This way I can guarantee shield advantage, which is going to be pretty useful. They do commit the shield on the Draco, they farm down, and they leave with quite a bit of energy. Thankfully, I have energy on my Zacian as well, so I'm going to commit the shield on the Iron Head. I should be able to overfarm somewhat, and then I'm going to fire off the close combat, and this will easily KO unless they give me the final shield. Close combat gets no shielded. In the back, they have Giratina Origin, and I have Yveltal. They were ABA weak to Yveltal, and now Yveltal is going to absolutely carry. They're going to be firing off Ominous Wind after Ominous Wind in this matchup, hoping to try and grab a boost. First Ominous Wind, no boost, and they take massive damage from the Dark Pulse. They're now potentially in farm down range for Yveltal. They fire off another Ominous Wind, hoping for the boost, but the boost just refuses to appear. I'm going to fire off another Dark Pulse. This is going to get their final shield. They are trying to preserve Giratina if at all possible. They fire off a move. It's a Shadow Ball. In comes Lugia. I bank the Dark Pulse, bring in Zacian. Zacian able to quick attack down, and I leave with a Play Rough loaded. Play Rough will easily take out the Giratina, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, leading Zacian into Kyogre. Fairly neutral lead across the board, but I would argue definitely an uncomfortable one for Zacian. I'm going to be staying in this matchup, farming up a ton of energy, and firing off the close combat. They've built up a ton of energy. I'm going to switch into Yveltal and see if I can bait out their Steel type, because if they're leading Kyogre, they probably have a good response to Dialga in the back. Surf, lands, and they bring in Melmetal. So this is hopefully their Dialga counter, and by baiting it out, that should hopefully free up Dialga to close in the end game. They go for the Rock Slide. I commit the shield, because you know what? With the shield advantage, I can flip this. I go straight for the Focus Blast. They do commit the shield, but I should be able to reach the Focus Blast. They build up to the back-to-back, but the thing is, Yveltal wins CMP, so I can commit the shield, go for the Focus Blast, win CMP over the Melmetal, and absolutely one-shot them with the Focus Blast. In comes Dialga, which is their final Pokemon. I realize that I'm probably not getting to a Focus Blast, so I am going to be firing off the Dark Pulse. That gets them low, and I'm able to combo play back into the close combat. That is going to be taking care of the Dialga, and in comes Kyogre. Kyogre going for the farm down. I try and make it to the Play Rough, but I die with the move. A definite misplay on my part, but I should still be okay here. They do have Blizzard, but Dialga is able to tank the Blizzard, and I will be able to reach the Iron Head before they're able to reach their Surf. So despite a misplay there in the mid-game, Dialga still able to take down Kyogre and clutch the victory. All in all, Quick Attack Zacian is a very viable side grade when compared to Snarl, and honestly may even be preferred going forward, just due to how much better it is in the mirror. I will say, if you're running Quick Attack Zacian, you're going to want to make sure that you do have a strong Giratina counter on the team, because with Quick Attack, even if you have Play Rough, you just get absolutely destroyed by Giratina Origin in the 2-shield, so running 1 or even 2 strong answers to Giratina Origin definitely does feel like a must. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.